Well, hello, welcome to Share in the Chair, Sunshine Cathedral's midweek interview program where I interview religious leaders from all over. I'm Darrell Watkins, Sunshine Cathedral's senior minister, and with me today is the Reverend Donna Christine Park. She has got a very interesting and eclectic ministry. She's got a very interesting and eclectic personality, and you're going to be delighted by all of that today. So please welcome Reverend Donna Christine Park. Thanks for doing this with us, Donna Christine.
Well, it is an absolute privilege, for sure. Truly a privilege.
I know you had a lot of, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I have big shoes to follow. I listened to Jamie last week, so whatever, he left his shoes.
Yes, we, a lot of your friends have been on this over the last few months. Yeah, Reverend Sheila from UFBL, she's been with us, and Reverend Cindy Lippert, of course. So yeah, we've had some fun folks. I know that you had some problems today getting the audio sorted out. In fact, Donna Christine has spent really hours and tried like various devices. Finally, she's on her phone now, found the right thing that would work properly or whatever. But she spent hours just to make this work right. And that's just so her. It's just to not give up, to do whatever to accommodate. And here we are. You wouldn't know. But for this 20, 30-minute conversation, she's prepared for hours. And I'm sorry that was so difficult. But you would never know because here we are.
Well, I'm very grateful to you and Robert, that's for sure.
Of course, there's some questions that I'll let you know I was going to be asking you. I've got one though that I forgot to ask until I see you just now, and it's so obvious. I don't know why I didn't think this. You sort of have made a I don't want to say habit, sort of a gift of showing up in really festive colors, fun hats, sometimes full on costumes, so that you always have flair. You always make a splash at conferences, and then I see for this interview at home also. Is that a thing? Is that just your daily life, or is that a thing you do when you present yourself, or is it for fun, or does it mean? I mean, just is it fun, or is it fashion? Is it spiritual?
Above.
What is it?
It's all of the above. You know, I have this the bottom line is my ministry, my life is one that's outside the box. You know, you can't put me in a single enclosed space because that's just not who I am. And more so, you know, over recent years, I've had this wonderful evolution, and revelation about myself, my spirituality, and my purpose. You know, when you find and you learn that you do have a purpose in this world. For years, I didn't think I did.
Really?
And oh my gosh, I could tell you stories that, but we only have 30 minutes. I could go on and on and on. But, it really is about having this wonderful divine purpose. And it's all about service. Having an opportunity to serve and share in the simplest of ways.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. I was expecting you to show up in costume too, actually.
Well, I do full drag on Sunday.
Well, I know. I've been there. Do you know how often I celebrate Sunshine Cathedral? I tell people about Sunshine Cathedral, and whenever there's a question of where a conference should be held, I said, I happen to know a place.
I look forward to when we can have conferences anywhere again.
I agree.
I'm enjoying video conferences. They're working out pretty good, but I miss the sitting down and having cocktails or lunch with friends, and I miss all of that. I do. And the fun, like super fun part, and we're going to get to that, but the super fun part is when you register for a conference and there's Donna Christine Park there, helping you register and give you your bag of goodies and all of that. So that's, I just sort of miss all that. And you're rocking a floral theme today, but I think I've seen you.
This is my, you are the missing piece to the puzzle of peace costume.
Oh, it's a puzzle costume. See, I thought there were flowers. Oh, I see clearly now. I see clearly now. And so that's the puzzle one. I've seen you in a fairy
My
situation.
angel, my angel
Angel,
costume.
it's an
Yeah.
angel. See, perspective. And
My,
and then
my
there's
Mrs.
like this.
Santa Claus.
There's this Mrs. Santa. I think that's my
Oh
favorite,
yeah,
and I've
it
seen that a
is my
couple of
favorite
times.
too.
Is
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Of course, I
Because then
say
I,
that about every time I'm in a costume. It's my favorite.
yeah, yeah. So that I just wondered if that's just like a personality thing, or if that was like your gift to people. Because the minute we see it, we light up. We're like, oh, look what she's wearing this time.
Well,
And
I remember at DSFI at Sunshine Cathedral a couple years ago, I was at the registration desk and we were just about ready to open up the door. And I looked out the door and there was, Jamie I could hear him or I could see him mouth the words, "Look who's here." You
right.
never know where I'm going to show up. That's for sure. And I would have been at DSFI this year. It was on my calendar to attend DSFI
Hmm.
this year too, but COVID had a different plan for us all.
Yeah,
I
yeah. We had a
refer to
good.
it as I refer to it as the collective global experience
Hmm. For
that we
sure.
are having right now. Yes.
And it's making us be diligent, of course, about
Mhm.
our health, but also hopefully compassionate,
Yes. Yes.
and
Sure.
gentle with one another. Well, it was a good
Yes.
conference. It was it was as good as it can be in this Jetson sort of setting, but it was good,
That's
and
great.
some good things came out of it. So, well, okay. So now I want to talk about your ministry. First of all, some people are cradle new thoughters. I mean, maybe you just were born in a unity church somewhere. I don't know,
I
but
wasn't.
mostly people find new thought,
Hmm.
the new thought philosophy of the divine omnipresence, and
Hmm.
we live in a spiritual universe governed by spiritual laws. We're spiritual
I love
beings. That our thoughts are things. Thoughts are
it.
themselves substantive. That's the new thought thing. We apply these teachings to be happier and
Right.
healthier and more robust and better relationships and all of that. And we have a good time doing it. Not a lot of we don't have a lot of don'ts in New
It's true.
Thought, but
That's what I
do have a
think.
lot of just spirit and power and joy and all that. So how did you find this? If this was handed to you, how did you discover this wonderful way of life?
I really believe that it found me, but it
Mm.
found me through the blessing of a dear friend who I called my spirit teacher mom. She was I had met her in San Diego back in the late 70s. And she kind of put up with me through some of the craziness of my life, my early life. And believe me, it was crazy. And then in 1994, she introduced me to A Course in Miracles. And I started studying Course in Miracles, and then she introduced me to Abraham and all these other new thought programs, or on the fringes of new thought.
I love Abraham.
Yeah, and so I kind of, that's how, but it was always about this. I like to say it's a gentleness about it. You're not. I one of the things I wrote down before is it was about relinquishing fear. I was facing homelessness. I was, in very ill and all these other things for a long, long time. And so for me to come through and, look at life with no fear and pure joy and absolute love. I mean, just, that's why I love going to places and being there to be the love, in the space, or join with others in love in that space. So it's been an amazing experience in my life. So it's been like since 1994, Rosemary introduced me, and that was a really, really interesting time for sure.
Well, those Abraham, the Esther Hicks
Uh-huh.
Abraham
Right.
experience, and of Course in Miracles, which is sort of spiritual psychology, and
Hmm.
is sort of a gateway for a lot of us, or an adjunct. We have a staff person who teaches course. We have two actually who co-teach a
Well,
Course in Miracles at Sunshine Cathedral.
isn't that
Even
Linda?
still,
Is it
uh,
Linda?
it's Margarita.
Margarita. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, yes, her
Yeah.
wife. Yeah, Linda's wife,
Right. Oh, I
and
remember. I remember.
yes, they're delightful. And so she teaches that. She's also the chaplain for Divine Federation. She's just wonderful, but she teaches so like sort of an adjunct or but so Course in Miracles and Abraham, that's sort of classes, conferences, books.
Mhm.
Eventually, you got into a community though.
Yes.
You went to seminary and
Uh-huh.
you found your way to all these conferences, and so you became part of uh, old school language
INTA.
church. You found
Uh,
church.
yeah.
How did that
Well,
happen?
I attend Unity of Mesa here in Arizona,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's my Sunday church family.
Hmm.
I've been volunteering at INTA over the last several months and participating there, and that's been quite interesting.
Oh,
And
great.
yeah. So you need anything, give me a call. Usually on
Nice. I didn't
Wednesday.
know that.
Yes, yes.
That
So,
the place there that she's talking about has these beautiful orange groves and this wonderful
mhm,
chapel and a school and
yeah,
these amazing archives.
right. Yeah.
They used to be a university. Now they're standalone. It's all quite wonderful. Now the school you went to, which is there at
Mm-hmm.
that property,
Right. Yes.
um, it was founded by sort of a luminary in New Thought,
Mm-hmm.
Lola Pauline Mays,
Yes.
and it's now named for her, that school. And then her son was the president of that school and led the church, and also
Right.
was big in INTA forever. Um, so well, I guess until he made his transition, really, and his
Yes.
whole family. So uh, what was that like? Because it's not an official Unity school or religious science school or divine science school or Course in Miracles school, and yet I bet you learned about all of it there. Because
In a
he,
lot of ways we did.
Mhm.
We had an amazing group of people in the class. I think we had 12 people, which is large for, like for a small school like that. And it was really incredible. And, so I learned things. I had never heard of, actually Rosemary introduced me to the word metaphysical back in the day. And then here at, Lola Pauline May Seminary, there's this incredible woman who's going to teach the metaphysical interpretation of the Bible. And I was stunned. I mean, I had never had that experience. And of course,
Right.
this woman, when I walked in the door and I saw her, and I said, "Oh my gosh, she could be my grandmother's twin." So, I mean, I had this immediate, heart association with her. And the Bible made sense to me for the first time in my life. So
Mhm.
that was really quite interesting. And this whole period of time from Wham's Walk a Mile in My Shoes on the Path to Peace has been my ministry since 2008. I actually had another ministry, which was a Whisper of Angels greeting cards and gifts. And I was the recipient of angel messages in the form of poems. And I created greeting cards, three-dimensional greeting cards. And that was during a hard time. But I'll tell you what, some of the messages, I always say they came through me, not of me.
Right.
And
Right.
the experience of that, was such a maybe it was a stepping stone to where I am today.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
very, very possible.
Did you know that uh, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago, we had an angelologist on the show?
Oh, really? I didn't watch
Yes.
that movie. Okay,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Reverend Kermy. She is an angelologist and intuitive, and we spent the whole
Wow.
time talking about angels. It was actually
Oh, I love
fascinating.
it.
So, okay, wow,
Wow,
that's wonderful.
that's
Um,
great.
so, were you religious before?
You
Catholic,
know,
Mormon, something?
well, I was brought up Lutheran. I was, confirmed Lutheran, married
Hmm.
Lutheran.
Hmm.
I don't think you can be divorced Lutheran, but whatever. um, whatever. So, but I think I always said that I was spiritual, not religious.
Hmm.
And I feel that has been an underlying guiding hand for me over the years. um, and I have so much to learn. That's one of the reasons why attending the conferences and meeting the individuals, through Walk a Mile in My Shoes on the Path of Peace. I've visited churches when I'm invited to your church. I ask to be hosted, and we come and we do a presentation. Usually like a shoe drive's done in advance of my arrival, and then we sort and we deliver locally. The shoes stay local to serve your community. And I know you have a really strong homeless program at Sunshine Cathedral. This is a wonderful program for you.
Where most of ours, I mean, we have worked with shelters before, but most of the clothes and stuff that we collect are for, and this will surprise you, hospitals.
Okay.
Because so many people on cruise ships or whatever, vacation, will have an issue, have to go to the emergency room that they didn't plan for, or maybe they're helicoptered in from a ship and they don't have anything with them. And you'd be surprised, so many people in the hospital need shoes and clothes. And we have a hospital just blocks from us, and most of what we collect these days are for that. And then if anyone stops by and needs something before we make that drop off to the hospital, then of course we just give it to them personally. But because sometimes someone will say I have a job interview, but I don't, I need better shoes or I need a better shirt or whatever. But yeah, that's something new that I discovered just here in Fort Lauderdale, is the need for hospitals to have clothes.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I think right now, I never announced that we would collect clothes, but we did. I had people. A lot of times, what happened is when somebody made their transition, they would their relatives would come to me and say, "Will you accept the clothes?" And so I created. I love everything has to have a name. So this was called a Wham's Legacy of Love. Because what a wonderful way to honor the individual by, sharing their belongings with someone in order for them to have a strong and powerful life. I think it's so exciting.
Yes. Well, let's back up a little bit, because people may not know exactly what we're talking about, and I want to catch them up. When I first met you, I met you with like 200 other people all the same day, or all in the same week. And I remember, so, you don't remember everybody's names. But you had your literature, and you made your pitch about this is what I do and this is what I love and blah, blah, blah. And so when that first conference or whatever where I met you, and I couldn't remember your name, I said the shoe lady. There's this person and that person, and there's the shoe lady, and that was you.
and I answered to that, or Reverend Shoes. Michael Mangus, calls me Reverend Shoes. So Reverend Shoes. So I go by that, As long as you don't invite me late for dinner, I'll answer.
No, you'll answer. So the reason she was the shoe lady to me, or Reverend Shoes.
Where'd you go?
I'm here.
How do I get back?
I can hear you. Your face is frozen, but your voice is fine.
How do I get back? Back to meeting. Oh, good. I'm so glad.
There you are. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the interwebs. But anyway, but no, the reason that I knew her as the shoe lady is because that is her passion and that is her ministry. So she has a ministry called Walk a Mile in My Shoes.
On the Path to Peace.
On the Path to Peace.
On the Path to Peace.
And she's got her own Facebook account, but her ministry also has its own Facebook page, Walk a Mile in My Shoes. So if you want to be if you're on Facebook, you want to look at that. It's out there. Walk a Mile in My Shoes, on the Path to Peace. And so this is what she does, is that she collects shoes and distributes them. And as she said, locally, if she takes it on the road. And there's a thing on your Facebook page where you talk about empowerment, and how like your goal is just to help people feel empowered by this simple, loving act of shoes.
Yes.
So would you tell us about how that got started, how you got inspired with that? Just tell us about that.
Oh, I'd love to tell you that part of it. It was on June 25th, 2008. I was preparing to attend a seminar in northern Phoenix, and we stopped at a Sweet Tomatoes for dinner. And in the restaurant, there was this huge crowd, and there were veterans and Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and every element of society. And being the very curious, some would say nosy person that I am, I waddled over and I was introduced to the lady who was the coordinator. Her name was Vianna Bruce, and it was the Military Family Support Group. And, she was busy. She could have just, said, it's nice meeting you. Thank you for your interest. But she continued by saying that she had a mom whose son was a medic in Iraq. And he felt that the thing that was needed on the ground more than anything else in the world were children's shoes. That is the origin of WHAMS.
Oh, wow.
I went to that seminar. Don't ask me a thing about it. I came home, went to, got ready for bed, couldn't sleep. When I did get to sleep, I felt like I had a visitation that said, you'll know what to do in the morning. And on June 26, 2008, Walk a Mile in My Shoes on the Path to Peace was born. And I can honestly say that in these 12 years, I have never looked back and have no intentions of looking back even to this at this time. So I should tell you that for about a year and a half, we collected children's shoes, and I would package 14-inch square boxes with children's shoes and ship them to military medics and chaplains on the ground in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Wow.
And so that was, we are a shoestring global outreach ministry that is, that celebrates, we want to advocate and empower people through the simplicity of a single pair of shoes. Gently love shoes.
I think it was St. Francis who said, preach the gospel at all times, when necessary, use words. I love that you're sharing this good news, this hope, this love, with words sometimes, but in all these other ways too. So if we bumped into you at a conference, you'd give us some literature, we'd know about it. If you were making a circuit, you might stop at a place nearby and we'd hear about it. But this is a different world right now, probably for another year or two even, who knows. So you're probably not traveling a lot, probably not going to a lot of conferences. And yet this is an amazing thing still. So if someone wanted to participate or contribute to this, how would they do that?
Well, you're always welcome to visit us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/WAMSNOW, WAMMSNOW. And frankly, right now, we have a birthday fundraiser going to support WHAMS activities. I could refer to us as the tiniest nonprofit. We have never exceeded $10,000. And yet we have shared, and I've lost track, but we have distributed more than 40,000 pairs of shoes in our 12-year history. As I said, I've had the opportunity to travel. I've been to Burnett Jones Church. I went to, and that was fabulous.
That's in Baltimore.
And I went to, in Baltimore. I was with Alice Brown in Cleveland. I've been to George Harris's church in Farmington, New Mexico. And I go where I'm invited. I go where I'm welcomed, and we get the job done. It's about being peace and knowing peace just by being present.
I saw your $690, I think, was the goal, and I won't tell anybody why that's the goal, but that was the goal.
That's okay. This Sunday I turned 69 years old.
Wow.
And
right.
I was talking to one of my dear friends who she's been in my life since the late 70s, and she says, when you turned 50, you didn't think you were going to be here this long. And so the fact that I am here 19 years later is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
I have
you got stuff to do.
I have work to do. That is for sure. That is for sure. Let me take a peek at my notes here.
And so I saw this fundraiser, and so if people contribute to that, is that to help buy boxes? Is that to help with postage?
That helps. That's a general fundraiser. That's for anything WHAMS needs.
Whatever you need. It's just operational.
Right.
Excellent.
Definitely. So it's all good.
We've talked about, you speak here and there, and you go to conferences, and you've shipped tens of thousands of shoes all over the world to people
around
in need.
the world. Around the world, we shipped about 2,500 in about a year and a half period of time. And what you might know, I was packing 14-inch square boxes, and there were times when I would take those boxes to the post office, and I had no idea how they were going out. I didn't have the money for it. And do you know, standing in the post office, people stepped up and sponsored a box.
Wow.
So that's my post office story for this time in
Right.
the time in
Right.
memoriam, as it were.
Yeah.
But
The mail's important.
it certainly
The
is.
mail's
It
important.
certainly is. It certainly is. Let me
Exactly.
see.
But you've done all of that. But also you have, so you've got the angel costume ministry
Mhm.
and the conference ministry and the shoe ministry.
Uh-huh.
You got so much going on, but you also have a ministry of hospitality. And I mentioned that
Yeah.
earlier, that you go to a conference, almost any New Thought conference, and there is Reverend Donna Christine giving you a gift or pouring you coffee or ushering you to into the worship space or helping you register or whatever. She's
You're
just
hired.
there. And when and no matter how early you get there in the morning, she's going to be who greets you.
Mhm.
And she never misses anything going on at the conference. She's just there as a host, as just a presence. How did that start? That's an important thing. That's sort of
You
an
know,
unsung
I
hero kind
was
of role. How did you get
Well,
into
it was
that?
interesting. There again, it has a very interesting association. I was invited by Betty Mays to be her a co-chair of the hospitality committee for INTA. So, Betty was, not able to do the things that she really liked to do. And so I, more or less put my stamp on it, and with her blessing. And, I always did it in her name because I honored her for, her years of service.
That's
So,
another thing. Every once in a while, someone will mention you, especially if you're very involved in the organization of a conference, and they'll
uh-huh.
mention you, and you're always there. And everybody knows who you are. But I've never seen you seek or even take credit for anything.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
very busy. You're obviously very busy, but you seem to be you seem to have the spiritual gift of helping and giving,
Thank
and
you.
your joy seems to come in being able to do that.
That
But
means the
so I
world to
was
me, Darrell.
so
That
I
means the world.
really wanted to feature you once. I wanted uh, 5 to 10,000 people. That's usually watches this every week. Is
Um,
maybe it'll be 300 maybe tonight, and then by the time next Wednesday rolls around, it'll be up to 6,000 or more, 6 or 8 or ten
that's
thousand.
amazing.
And I wanted 6 or 8 or 10,000 people to say, "Oh wow, she does amazing things. Good for her. I'm glad I know about her now." Because you do so much
And they can
uh,
call anytime.
you do
They
so
can
much just
call
quietly
anytime.
and almost in the background, except it's usually in the foyer, so it's really in the foreground. But uh, but
Can I tell you a funny story about me being in my angel costume in the
yeah,
embassy suites foyer or lobby?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You may remember Reverend Nancy Hazard from New
Uh-huh.
York. Well, when I said, first of all, her name is a family name of mine. So I went over and raised my arms with my wings. And she tells the story, it scared the daylights out of her. She said, "Who is this crazy lady?" The good news is she loves me anyway. But
Yes.
it's so funny. Never thought that, the angel of peace would scare somebody, but I guess it's all
Angels are
relative.
awesome. They,
Yeah,
yeah, what? Makes sense to
so
me.
it's so funny. Yeah,
Makes sense
that
to
is
me.
amazing.
Well, we're sort of winding up. I wanted to know. Oh, wait, but how did you get into this hospitality? This ministry of giving and sharing and welcoming. It's so
I
powerful.
think I've
And
always,
you said, yeah.
even as a child. I mean, if it was,
So Betty
you
asked
know,
you one time, but you've done it way past that conference.
oh yeah, yeah, and that's why, as long as, I go where I'm invited. I live on a very strict, Social Security amount each month. I've lived on less. I consider myself the richest woman in the world. And, I've been blessed by having the help of a airline pilot to get me where I need to be. And I always say, if knowing that I can get there, if you can help me once I get there, I will, serve in the best possible way to the benefit of your organization. And,
Hmm.
that's why I learned about DSFI. I have learned so much over these last years. And, I consider myself so very blessed, truly, truly blessed.
And that is a wonderful example of how abundance and prosperity isn't
Absolutely.
about dollar signs, or
Oh gosh, no.
that our source is absolutely limitless,
Yes.
and the channels through which our source gets our stuff to us, they are,
Mm.
almost unlimited. And so yeah, that your income is one way to be prosperous. It is not the only way to be prosperous.
There you
And
go.
that,
See my
yep,
sign?
yes, absolutely. That you're yeah, that uh so-called fixed incomes, or
Mhm.
whatever, all incomes are fixed. They're unless if you get a salary or a wage, that's what it is. All incomes are fixed. But
Right, right.
that we're not limited by that, really.
Yeah.
We can
Well,
find, but the universe finds ways to provide.
right. One of the things that I will share with you, and this, I still marvel at this, that on the 26th of June, 2008, if I had stopped to think about how WAMS would become a reality, I would have dwelled on, my lack and, my health and this and that and the other thing. I didn't even stop to think about it. And here we are 12 years later.
Right. I
And,
would have
it's all about faith.
I would have met you the first time, probably in '07 or '08. And I have to say, I don't know anything about your story. I know more about you tonight than I've ever known. I didn't know about that hard time, back in the '80s, '70s, or whatever. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
But I have to say that you seem stronger now,
Oh,
sort of more robust, healthier now than when I met you.
well,
Um,
it's my
you
health
always
is,
seemed happy, but you
well,
seem
try to be
just
that.
even, stronger.
I don't even like the word try. That's one of the things that changed in my life over the years is I changed my vocabulary. And I really, excuse me, choose to not use the word try. It is my intention to. And so
Mm,
it's my intention to be happy. It is my intention to be peaceful and joyful. I mean, all of those wonderful words. I mean, I just choose to live it all.
yeah.
So it's, and, just recognize the blessings, truly recognize the blessings of just being here, sitting here, having this conversation with you, because I honor your path as well, my friend.
Thank you.
I love telling people about you. I mean, I do that a lot.
Wow.
So if you
Thank
ever
you.
get, if your ears are ringing, and it's all good, it's all good. So, but it's wonderful.
Well, thanks for sharing with us tonight. Thanks for telling us your story and sharing your ministry. And uh, uh, on Facebook, the WAMS ministry, people can learn more about it and can even contribute to it. And that's all good. But there's one more question I have to ask you, because no one gets away without this question. This is the anchor question,
Okay.
and I would love to hear what you have to tell us about it. What happens when we die?
It's going home. It is truly going home. I have felt that in my life that I've died before, not literally, but my sense of not having hope during at times in my life, and not knowing where I was going to live or what was going to happen. So those are little deaths that you've had in your life. So I don't fear death at all. I welcome it. I say that, but I still don't have my advanced directive completed. And I do recommend that people do that, regardless of your age, make sure that you're prepared. And I was doing a project that was called what was it called? The Ultimate Choice, a Celebration of Life. And it was encouraging people to have their life care, uh, you know, everything lined up so that you have your ducks in a row so that somebody else isn't doing it for you. And so that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
All right. Uh, don't leave loose ends for this world for other people to have to deal with, but the other world is just going home. I
Exactly.
love that. I
Home.
love that.
And I can't wait to go to the Rainbow Bridge. It's my first stop.
Oh yeah. There's some pets waiting on you.
I've got some pets there that I will definitely welcome the opportunity to see. I'm so grateful for that Norse myth, but I
Yeah.
take it very seriously. I take it very seriously. So
I love it.
please know that I honor you. I honor your ministry and everyone under that roof. And I look forward to returning as soon as possible. If I can serve
Yes.
with you and for you, and at any point in the future, please don't hesitate to call.
Thank you so much, Donna Christine.
You
This
are
has just
so,
been a joy for me. God bless you.
God bless you too. Bye bye.